This is The Roadmap with Ted Jenkin.
Hey everybody, this is Ted Jenkin and welcome to The Roadmap, exclusively here on America's Small Business Network. Thanks for watching. Every week we bring you some of the brightest and best CEOs and entrepreneurs in and around the country. We talk about how to start a business, how to grow it, but most importantly, a lot of people want to know, how do I scale a business and one day, how do I sell it and exit stage left? I've got a friend of mine on today, Eisenstein. He's the owner of Classic Tents and Events. I've watched your business grow over the years. I think you're an amazing entrepreneur, but I think a lot of people might want to know first, like, how does one get into the tent business?
Well, thanks for inviting me here, Ted, for starters. Appreciate the opportunity. I got in the tent business, basically, I was in catering for a long time in the hospitality world, and I wanted to get out of catering. And I was looking for an opportunity to use my skills and do something in the hospitality world, but not actually cater. So I came across this woman who was 60 years old at the time, 65 at the time, and ready to retire. And I asked her if she was looking for any salespeople, and she said, no, I'm looking for an exit strategy. And a little light turned on, and I got excited and started studying her business. And so I studied her business for a good couple months and then made an offer in August of 2010, and we made a deal.
So you built a huge footprint, really nationally now for your company, but I know you do all kinds of different tent and event projects. So talk to us about the marketing in here, because I think you're quite a brilliant marketer. I think it's pretty amazing what you do. So how have you scaled revenue in this business?
Certainly. Well, the key here is to be diverse. We're in a lot of different markets. So we're movie production is very big for us. We do a lot of TV and film here in Atlanta. But we also have a lot of other sectors that we serve. So the retail market's big for us. Festivals are big. We deal with a lot of corporate events, and we just have, there's so many different things that go on in the city, and we're part of an annual events here in town. So there's just so many things that go on every year.
Yeah, but you also created partnerships with some of the largest brand names across the United States. I know that you've done work with Home Depot. We were talking about Tractor Supply. How do you get those kinds of contracts, and it's not just somebody's wedding in their backyard or just some charity event?
Certainly. Well, it takes a lot of hard work and proving yourself. So when I bought the business, Home Depot was already a client for us. And for us, it was just a matter of growing and nurturing that relationship. And in the beginning, we used to drive to Florida and set up tents for them in the wintertime to sell Christmas trees.
Oh, sure, yeah, outside the properties.
And as years went on, we didn't actually have to go to Florida anymore. We did it in Georgia and worked with other vendors in other cities. So last year was 12 states it affected, and I don't think I could talk about any of that on the air because I have NDAs, so we can't probably put any of this on there.
Yeah, but it was a great contract. Those kinds of contracts make the business more stable in here, but you have to get your own tent supply as well, right? You're not making the tents in your company, and you also sell tents. So how do you get your tents? I always wondered, where does one buy all these tents that you're renting out?
We're part of an association called the American Rental Association, and they actually have a trade show every year, and that's where all the exhibitors are showing their wares. So there are many manufacturers.
Oh, it's like a consumer electronics show, but for tents.
Exactly, for people in the tent in the rental business. It's true. So there's a lot of manufacturers. I try to buy American-made products. Our main manufacturer is in Evansville, Indiana. And it's called Anchor Industries, and we have a lot of their products, both in frame tents and in pole tents. And recently we added structure from a company called Losberger. So we have structure tents, which are made by the meter, smallest 12 meters all the way up to 30 meters. So that's almost 100 feet wide, and they're really big size structure.
Now,
which is
a lot of business owners, they think about diversifying income streams in their business. And I know that when I first saw your facilities, obviously you were in tents, but then I saw how many chairs that you buy. And then also I think you got into restaurant equipment and things like that. So how did you make the leap to start adding different products and services, of course, against the core product of renting out tents?
Certainly. Well, it really just depends on the demand. So as our company's grown, our clients have grown with us. So we did the University of Georgia graduation, all their chairs that they needed, 7,600 last year. So as years have grown on, we've added to our inventory, and we've become one of the larger tent rental companies here in Georgia, which has been nice.
Let's just take a time out. When you talk about 7,600 chairs.
Right.
It's not you out there lining up 7,600 chairs on graduation. Do you have to keep full-time employees on staff, Or do you basically do just-in-time employees when you have big projects like
Sure.
that? It's not just managing the inventory, you got to manage the labor to get the jobs done.
Absolutely. Well, as the years have gone on, we've grown our staff. So we have 100 employees that are full-time now, and we have a lot of other companies that we work with that are providing labor to us when we need to beef up. So when October comes around and we have so many events, we have staff that help us that are temporarily on our team. And of course, we train them and teach them everything they need to know so they do it right.
So there, like many businesses, there is some seasonality in your business. So you've got full-time employees, but then you might need to add part-time employees in the fall or in the spring when there's bigger events?
That's 100% correct, Ed. So
what do you do now as a leader? I mean, 100 people, for a lot of people that are watching the roadmap today, they have businesses and they might have 10, 20, 30 employees. You get to 100, you don't even know the names of some of the people, or do you know the names of all the people?
I try to know the names of everyone. There's some staff that are revolving, come in and out. However, I do, for the most part, know everyone's name that work there. And we keep them energized, we keep them active and doing all kinds of fun things. So we like to do team outings about once a quarter and take them to different places and do fun things and keep it unique, because we're a fun kind of business.
Now, I know that in your business that you ended up purchasing a big warehouse storage facility. Would you recommend for owners that when they think about this idea of leasing or buying property in the business and being owner occupied, do you have a philosophy on that one way or the other?
My dad, may he rest in peace, helped me quite a bit. So we bought our building in 2013, and at that time when we first moved in, we had other people subrenting space because we didn't fill it up all the way. And as years went on, we slowly have asked people to move on out of their space and didn't renew their lease and took over their spot. And now the building is pretty complete and full. And we're now looking for additional warehouse space as the years go on.
So you actually got so big now that you ran out of space.
Well, the deal is you want to keep on buying new equipment so you can add inventory to your business. And so we normally buy a certain percent each year. And we're slowly running out of places to keep new inventory. So it's a good problem to have.
But it's interesting you bring that up because you've got to buy all this equipment. When you look at the way that you manage your balance sheet, do you work with local banks to think about having rotating lines of credit to be able to buy that equipment to fuel the business, or do you try to buy it out of cash? How do you make those kinds of decisions as an owner? Because I think it's critical in how you manage your balance sheet.
Absolutely. Well, again, we've been blessed. We haven't really used a line of credit from the banks.
Really?
We've been
self-financing. You funded this business out either self-finance or did it out of the cash flow in the business?
There was a time where we did have the bank have a line of credit.
Yeah.
But as years went on, we realized we're just paying the bank for the money, and we don't really need their help. So I can't say it's always going to be that way, but for a while we were self-financing everything.
So I'm trying to get our viewers' heads wrapped around this. You build this business, now you've got revenue. Number one, have the margins gotten better as you've gotten bigger in the business, or having the overhead, has it made it worse? Or how do you manage that in your mind right now?
So that's a really good question. So as the years as we've grown, the amount of money we're paying our employees has increased as well. So
it's part of the labor market, right?
The cost of living's gone up. So in order to do that, our margins changed a little bit, but at the same time, we're investing in our people. And I feel that's a better investment for us. And our margins did change because of that, but we were okay with it. It was a solid move that we decided to go with. But at the same time, our margins are important. I'm involved in a group, we call it a BAG group, a business analysis group.
And what it is, group, I like that.
What it is it's other people that are also in my industry in other states, and we share our numbers and we help each other. So,
wow. So it's like co-opetition, if you will,
it's 100%
right? Yeah.
what it is. And we help each other in sales and marketing and all the aspects of our operations. And we talk about our numbers. And we ask people, why are your margins so low? And we ask them, for reasoning behind things.
Why are so many business owners afraid that are in competing businesses to do what you're doing? Because I've noticed that you've always been that way as an owner. You're very industry involved and having those discussions. But do people just fear that the competition is going to learn like their secret sauce or something like that?
We're all the same. I mean, we're all in the tent rental business. It's not anything different. It's just a matter of the people that you have and the resources that you use. So by all means, there's no trade secrets here. It's just about how you take care of your people and how you train them and how you deal with them.
Now, I know that you own chairs, you own tents. I know that you've got big washers and dryers and all kinds of fancy equipment. When you think one day about exiting this business, are you thinking that it's just you're selling your equipment? Is it about selling cash flow in the business? And who would you sell this to?
That is a great question, Ted. So the good news is there are other companies out there that look to buy bigger tent rental companies. And so there is a market out there for what we do, but at the same token, I love what I do. I don't even call it work. It's just I enjoy what I do.
You do love what you do.
It's awesome, I'm a party guy. So I mean, who knew later in life I would be renting parties to people, But at the same token, my son is 15, and I have a feeling one day he might be interested in the business. I'm not going to force him to do anything he doesn't want to do. I want him to be happy with what he decides. But at the same time, if he likes it and he wants to come and work with us, then we can have another generation of tent renters in the family.
Because we know businesses are 24/7. Does your family, whether or not they like it, get involved in the business? Do they end up show up from time to time at these different events, whether it's University of Georgia?
Absolutely.
They do.
We had a Braves game we went to this last weekend, and they joined us with the team. So by all means, they come to a lot of the festivals that we put on or that we are part of, and they do have some benefits from attending a lot of the events that we get to go to. But at the same time, sometimes they're like, Dad, we don't want to go, you go. So they do get worn out and tired of it, but it's fun stuff.
I think what you built is just brilliant. The way that, it is that people say it's a tent business, it's vanilla, right? But there's a lot of these businesses that can do very, very well. What piece of advice would you give people in regards to their industry associations? Because I feel like watching you from afar, you've done tremendously well being involved in your associations, which has augmented your business.
Right.
In any industry, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur about how to approach those industry associations?
Sure. Well, I would say be active, be involved, pay attention to what's going on. That's how we learn about all the different options that are out there. We learned about our Tenox. We learned about all the different technologies out there from going to other places, other warehouses, talking to other people in the rental business. So there's a lot of different things you can pick up from others. So it's always a good opportunity to study the market, be with the people in the associations, know what's going on, and pay attention.
And I love being around you because I've always noticed two things. One is you're so optimistic. And two is that you always bring a personal touch. Even today, I noticed that you brought us some stuff from your company, and you're always that way. Is that something that you learned, or is it something you think people can learn about being optimistic? How do you keep such high spirits?
Gosh, that's a great question, Ted. I'm just an optimistic kind of person. I've always been this way, and I always look on the bright side. And I always like to have a leave behind, something to people to remember us from, and just like to take good care of people.
Yeah, and that really is the secret at the end of it, right? If you take good care of people, you build those relationships. Not only do you get business, but they refer you to other people in the business grows from there.
100%.
Congratulations on all your success. An amazing business in here. And you have to think about this as you're following your roadmap in your business. Are you giving that personal touch? Are you doing leave behinds? Are you providing great customer service, not only externally, but internally to your employees? All those things one day can help you scale your business and exit stage left. I'm Ted Jenkin, and this is The Roadmap.
Thanks for watching The Roadmap with Ted Jenkin.